Hey there YouTube, it's Elizabeth. In this video I'm going to show you some plants individually and just chit chat about them, and I'm going to show you what I got at the plant swap. So come along with me as I do some planty chores. So I just got home and it's Friday, which means no work tomorrow, and I'm just admiring my plants. This is a Snow Queen, Epipremnum aurea Snow Queen. It is one of the newer plants that I've put on a moss pole, and there are 5 growth points on here, and at least one of them has already rooted into the moss pole and we're putting out new leaves, so that's nice. I hope it keeps its variegation. I have each one of these under a grow light. I just hope it doesn't revert. But beautiful leaves. These are due for a water. You can hear how crispy they are, so I will do that today. And then my Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue. Nope. Baltic blue. So this plant I got at Lowe's, and I had it on a coco coir pole for quite a long time. Well, several months anyway. And I was just wrapping it around and around. And the aerial roots are not able to grow into the coco coir. That's what is so great about a moss pole, is the aerial roots can grow straight into the moss. So I just had it wrapped around the coco coir pole, and it wasn't increasing in leaf size. It wasn't giving me any fenestrations. Well, that's not true. It did give me 2 fenestrations. Here's one here, and here's the other one back here. There you can see. But I want more. I want more fenestrations. I want bigger leaves. So I took the entire plant off of the coco coir pole and had an interesting time putting it on a moss pole. So what I did was I took the vines and I wrapped them around the base of the moss pole, and then I just took the very ends and propped them up. So here's one. That one hasn't grown very much. Here's another one. That one's grown a bit. Here's one. And then the other 2 are, on the other side. Here's one, and then one on the back. But they are growing pretty quickly. They are rooting into the moss pole. The leaves are pretty small. It did go under quite a bit of stress. It has a different type of potting medium. It has a different type of growing arrangement here. So it did kind of go through some shock, but hopefully we'll get some large fenestrated leaves, because that's what I'm after. Next is my Albosyngonium, and it put out this new leaf recently, so not tons of variegation on that one, but some of the previous leaves have some beautiful variegation. Look at that one, so pretty. And the green is this really deep dark green as well, which makes the white stand out. This is such a great plant if you're wanting to get into variegated plants but don't want to pay $100 for like a variegated monstera cutting. This plant was, I think, $24 maybe, and it was 4 leaves or so. Its leaves aren't going to get huge, but they're just so beautiful. But yeah, that's the newest leaf right there, and it's growing pretty well. My silver sword is having a bit of trouble. This newest leaf, it's not unfurling, and I'm not sure what's wrong with it. And you can see the other leaves are nice and big and mature, but this one's just having a hard time. So I'm not really sure what the problem is. I don't know if it is a humidity issue. I did spray it with a water mister. Maybe I should keep doing that. It has not rooted into the moss pole yet, so we're kind of waiting for that. I was going to say this is the only growth it's given me, but that's not true. It gave me this interesting growth down here. So I think it was a flower that grew out of here. It has since come off, but it was a flower and it died before it bloomed. And then it has this other growth point here. I think it's a growth point anyway, so that'll be interesting to see what comes of that. But it had its own caterpillar and everything, and then this leaf had this caterpillar, and then you can see the new growth point right there. So this plant is a bit of a mystery to me. It hasn't done much, and what it has done, it's kind of interesting, and I don't really understand it too much. But yeah, it's kind of a learning curve, learn as you go plant. Next is my Lechlariana. I had to pull a yellow leaf off from this today, and I'm getting some brown spots on this. I'm not really sure why. I'll have to do a little bit of research. It has a new leaf coming out right back there. These little baby leaves are so cute. This has not rooted into the moss pole yet, so I'm kind of just waiting for it to do that. These two on the sides have, though, and they've done a really good job of rooting into the moss pole, so that's really nice to see. If only I could get a handle on the brown spots, that would be nice. This newest leaf over here does not have any fenestrations, which is disappointing, I guess. You can see this one has a fenestration. Sorry, we're in kind of tight here. This one down here has a fenestration. Hello. And then there's another one. Is it hiding? Oh, here it is. This one has a fenestration. So 3 leaves with fenestrations and then 1 leaf without. So I'm not really sure why, but hopefully the next one will have one. Let's move on to my Esqueleto. This one's doing great. This one has also rooted very nicely into the moss pole. So this one's doing great. I would just like some larger leaves from it, as with all my plants. And then my Monstera Peru, which might not even be a Monstera. It might be a philodendron, but I'll just call it a Monstera Peru for now. I'm really excited. It gave me a new leaf. I'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see this growth point here. Tried to give me a leaf here. It tried to give me a leaf here. It tried to give me a leaf here. It did give me a leaf here, but it was really sad looking. And then finally it gave me a normal, albeit small leaf. So that's growing. The only other leaf I've gotten from this plant is this one down here. And it's a little bit small, but not too small. But like this is the size of the other leaves of the plant. And you can see how nice and big they are. And then you come up here and see how small this one is. So again, I'd like some nice big leaves. This plant does not fenestrate, so I don't have to worry about fenestrations, but I would like some bigger leaves, and I would like it to root into the moss pole because it has not done that yet. It does have a little aerial root right here, and I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see that, but it does have an aerial root, and I believe it has one kind of more directed towards the moss pole, so I'm trying to get those to grow into the moss pole. If those grow into the moss pole, I would be so happy. But the overall plant looks beautiful, but I just want it to grow more. So those are kind of these plants along here. I just thought I would show you. Oh, I've kind of blinded you guys. Every day when I come home from work, I say hello to my plants and I look at them, and I thought this time I would take you along with me. I have a couple leaves here that are not wanting to unfurl. This is my Monstera Thai Constellation. And it's been like this for quite a few days. I think what I'm going to do is just spray it with some water. Maybe it doesn't have a high enough humidity. I peeked at it the other day just to make sure there weren't thrips hiding in there, and I didn't see any, so that's good. See, the other leaves are really pretty, so I can't wait to see what this one looks like. And then this one is pretty sad. This is on my Rojo Congo, and the color, I hope it's coming across on camera, but the color of this petiole and this part of the leaf here is just this bright corally pink color, and the rest of the leaf is dead. See, it's just brown. And I want to peel it off, but I don't know when the right time is to do that. This plant did have thrips. I treated it a couple times, and I've been looking at it every day, and I haven't seen any for about a week. But I wonder if this is thrips damage. So that's kind of sad. Just thought I would show you that. I found little grains of rice on my silver sword. Yep, those are thrips again. So this plant will be coming with me to the bathtub. I'm going to give it a shower. Okay, this is a weird angle, but here we are in the bathroom. I've got my silver sword. I just watered and fertilized its moss pole, but then I saw thrips, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm going to hose her down with the shower head and then treat her with the insecticide. So let me go ahead and do that now. And I've got my insecticide here, and I'm just going to spray down the fronts and backs of the leaves. And I can't help but wonder if this is why that new leaf is having problems unfurling. Maybe there's some thrips damage or something that I don't know about that the thrips are causing. Who knows? Okay, I'll just let that sit overnight and put her back in the morning, and hopefully that gets rid of the thrips. I really hope the plants nearby didn't get infected, but I will be checking on them like every day because I'm a little bit of a heifer parent. So yeah, I hope they didn't get infected. I will put this plant back in the morning. I'll just let it drain overnight, and I'll keep the door closed so the pets don't get to it. So hopefully this does the trick, and we'll see if that new leaf starts to unfurl. I want to talk about some good news, because I've talked about thrips, I talked about leaves that aren't unfurling. Let's talk about some good news. Look at this new Monstera deliciosa leaf. Yay, it's so cute. It's starting to unfurl, and I've checked on this every day. No thrips. I've had to treat it in the past couple weeks, I think, and it's been free of thrips ever since. But yay, this new leaf is coming out, and it looks so good so far. Also, I want to show you something on my Rhaphidophora decursiva. I've had this plant for at least 6 months, and it's rooted into the moss pole very nicely. There are 2 plants in here. The biggest one has put out this like runner with several nodes and no new leaf after this leaf. This was the newest leaf, which is quite beautiful. But after that one, it's put out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 nodes and no leaf. And then the smaller plant, this is the newest leaf it's put out at around the same time as the other one. And it has put out 1, 2, 3 nodes. It is putting out something that kind of looks like a leaf. and I wonder if it's going to be a leaf or if it's just another node. But it doesn't, well, it looks different to any of the other nodes. So that'll be interesting to see what it ends up being. I hope it's a leaf because I'm sick of all these nodes. I want leaves. And then I have one more thing to show you. This is my euphorbia, and I got it in Charlotte, North Carolina, at a cute little plant like boutique. And I got it home, and all the leaves on the corners fell off, except for one. And it hasn't done anything in several months, but now, can you see that light green? It's putting out new growth, and all those little leaves on the spines. So there's new growth right there. There's also new growth right there. Do you see that light green and those little leaves coming out? So that's really exciting. My little euphorbia is growing. Next to my croton, which is also growing, has new leaves. So yeah, despite thrips, despite leaves dying and not unfurling, I am getting some new growth and some exciting things are happening. I want to show you guys my begonia maculata propagations. I don't think these are doing too well, but I want to dump them out and just throw away the rotten ones and replace the water. So let's go ahead and do that. And we have a helper. No kitties, please. So here we have one with a little bit of leaf growth on there, no roots. There is some rotten stem on it, so I'll just go ahead and cut that off, or just break it off. This one, I'm not seeing any growth, but there's no rot on it, so I'll just pop that back in the water. This one's got some nice little roots on it, and some new growth on there, but part of the stem is squishy, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that part off and try and salvage what I can from this. But I'm going to put it back into the water because I don't think it's ready to be potted up yet. This one has the tiniest little root and some new growth up here, so I will keep that in the water. These three are dead or dying, so I'm just going to throw those away. This one has got some growth on it, but no roots, but I'm just going to keep that in the water. It doesn't have any rot on it, so it's doing okay so far. This one has a little root on it, and there's a tiny little leaf down there. This one has some roots and a tiny little leaf, so I'll keep this one in the water. And then this one doesn't have any new growth, no roots, no leaves, but let's see, this part is a little bit mushy, but I'll just put it back in the water. So those are all my little propagations, begonia maculata propagations. They're coming along okay. My actual plant is not doing so great. I think I've overwatered it and it's lost a lot of leaves. So that's why I'm trying to propagate it and bring out a fuller, more bushy plant. I've already propagated some wet sticks and put it back into the plant, and those are doing okay. So hopefully I can add these back within the next couple months. So there we go, they're back in their little vessel with some nice clean water, and I'll put it by the window. This is the actual plant I was talking about. So these leaves look bigger on camera than they actually are. That's how big they are compared to my hand. But they're gorgeous. I love the polka dots on them and the burgundy backs. These aren't that burgundy, but when they become more mature, they get beautiful, deep burgundy backs. But you can tell it's just not a gorgeous plant. It's a bunch of sticks and not very many leaves. Like I said, I think I overwatered it, and so that may be part of my problem. It's also not getting very much light. It's not one of my favorite plants, and so it doesn't get a prime location. It is what it is. Hopefully with my new propagations, I can bring out a fuller, bushier plant someday. Hopefully this growing season. That would be nice. I have here my Dracaena cuttings that I took a couple of weeks ago, and unfortunately they did not take. They have turned to mush. So I'm just going to be throwing these away. I tried to do everything right, you know, sanitizing my scissors, letting the ends callus over, but unfortunately things don't always go like we would hope them to. There is one leaf that has been propagating for maybe 10 months at this point. It hasn't done a single thing, but it has not rotted. So I will put this in with my Begonia maculata cuttings just to save space. But the rest, unfortunately, will be going in the trash can. Okay, I have my plants ready for the plant swap. I'm about to head out the door, and everything fit in this box. I did decide to bring the Aglaonema Ghost, so hopefully someone will want it and can give it a good home. I made little name tags for everything. I thought that would be helpful and cute. So yeah, I'm nervous. I've never been to this place and I don't know any of the people, but we'll just see what happens. So I am back from the plant swap and I was successful. People wanted my plants and I got rid of everything except for the Aglaonema. No one wanted this, not surprising, but right, Chico, not a surprise. No one wanted this. So I guess I will just put it back. So how it worked was everyone just brought what they brought, and then everyone just took what they wanted to take. And there was definitely enough stuff to go around. I thought it was going to be a 1-for-1 trade thing, but it was more like a kind of a free-for-all. Take what you want, bring what you want. And like I said, there was definitely enough stuff to go around, so everyone was happy. And those who brought a lot of things were happy to get rid of what they brought. So I think everyone ended up being a winner, and yeah, I had a good time. I'm definitely socially awkward, but I would go to a plant swap again. But yeah, let me show you. I got 3 tomato plants. There was a lady who brought a whole bunch of tomato plants. These are Better Boy tomatoes, and I've never done tomato plants successfully before. So I will have to put these outside in the sun and keep them wet, she said. I think I will put them all in one container and just put them out on my front porch so I can keep an eye on them as I leave for work every day. I might need to buy a tomato stake. I'm not sure. I'll have to look up Better Boy tomatoes and see what they require as far as tomato stakes and like what kind of soil. But I'm excited and a little nervous to try tomatoes. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to get outdoor plants, but I ended up getting some. Next, I got a Philodendron Postazenum. Now, I already have one of these from the person who brought them, but he, you know, brought some more, so I took another one, and I'm going to add this one to the plant that I already have going, and so it'll be a double plant. So that won't take up any extra room. From the same person, I have some White Princess Philodendron cuttings. There's 3 cuttings here, and they're all rooted and all have new growth on them. So there's one. There's another one. You can see that one has a nice new leaf on it. And there's the third one with a new leaf growing. And then 2 more plants from the same person. This guy must have an extensive collection because he brought a lot of good stuff. These are El Choco Red Philodendron little babies. Look how cute. So I got 2 of those, and I'm going to put them together in the same pot. And then I also got a pothos. I think it's a Mandula pothos. I was attracted to that variegation. I thought that was really pretty. It's just the one cutting. It is rooted. This box that I have all the plants in actually belongs to Newman, so he's like, he wants his box back. But yeah, there's that, what I believe is a Mandula pothos, or Epipremnum. And then here are some Philodendron Hederaceum lemon lime cuttings. I believe that's right. Lemon lime philodendron, yep. I've always wanted one of these because I love the color, but I've never picked one up, so now I have one. So that's exciting. And then I got a plant that I've never heard of. It's also a philodendron. It is a dwarf red emerald, and it's just there in water. Let me show it to you. But the lady said it grows in a clump rather than up a moss pole, so I don't have to use up any of my vertical space for it. But yeah, I hadn't heard of that, and it has really pretty pink petioles, so I thought that would be interesting. So yeah, those are all the plants that I got. I think I came out pretty darn good. So I will go ahead and pot these up. I think tomorrow. It's a little late today and I have to get up early for work tomorrow. I'm gonna try and find room for all these babies, and hopefully I have enough pots. I think I do. And I'm gonna do a little research and make sure I have the right type of soil for everything, because they are just babies. I don't want to put them in my chunky aeroid potting mix right away because I don't think the roots are ready for it yet. But yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll see you back tomorrow when I pot these up. All right, I just got home from work. I've been thinking about these plants all day. I have everything ready to pot them up. Newman, of course, is helping. I've got potting mix, I've got sphagnum moss, I've got pots, more potting mix. I've got all my plants here and the tomato plants. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start off with the plants that I'm just going to put in sphagnum moss. So there's 4 plants that I'm going to be putting in sphagnum moss. I'm going to be doing my Philodendron Hederaceum lemon lime, my dwarf red emerald, which I actually think is called a super dwarf red philodendron. I did some research and I could not find anything that's called a dwarf red emerald online. So yeah, I think it's called a super dwarf red. But anyway, that's going to be going in sphagnum moss. The white princess cuttings are going to be going in sphagnum moss, as well as the Epipremnum mandula. So that's 4 different things. I've got 4 pots here. They don't all match. I have 3 square pots and 1 cylinder pot. The pots are really cute. I wish they all matched, and I wish I had saucers to go with them, but unfortunately I just have this kind of ugly plastic saucer. But I didn't want to buy new pots because pots are kind of expensive, so I just decided to go with what I had. I'm going to go ahead and get the sphagnum moss moist in a colander. Okay, that's how much I made up. I can always make up more, but I didn't want to make up too much and then have like wet sphagnum moss sitting around. Let me do the super dwarf red first. Next is the Mandula. This one, I think I'm going to, well, there's a rotten leaf on it and part of this stem is a little bit rotten. So I'm going to take that off. The rest is okay. Next, let's do the white princess cuttings. I'm going to put these in the cylinder pot because it has the most like vertical growth space. I'm going to get a little bit more sphagnum moss. Okay, cats down. And then for this Hederaceum lemon lime, let me take a look at it. I'm not really sure what's going on here. So here's a cutting without any roots. And then here's, let's see, this is all one cutting. I think I'm going to cut it into a few different pieces and see if I can't get multiple rooted sections. Okay, I've cut it into 6 different sections and I'm gonna just put these all together and hopefully they'll all survive and I can get more of a nice full pot out of it. Alright, there's my little salad bowl of propagations in sphagnum moss, and I hope they all do okay. I'm going to sit this near my north-facing window, only because that's where I have the most room, and yeah, hopefully they do okay. Next, I have these 2 baby Philodendron El Choco Reds, so I'm going to pot these together and let them grow up together. And that way I can save on space as well. So I just have a 4-inch pot here and a cute little saucer. So I'm going to be using a mixture of peat moss and my orchid bark mix. Let's go ahead and take a look at the root system. Oh, these are tiny! Oh my gosh, how cute! These are babies. We are testing my plant skills here. Wow. Okay. Oh, this one looks a lot nicer. This one is a lot more promising. It has better rootage there. I think I'm going to use some of the potting mix that they were already potted up in. I'm just going to reuse it and mix it with my orchid bark that I like to use for my aroids. Okay, there they are, very cute. Next I have my Pastazinum or Pastazanum, and I'm going to pot it with the one that I already have, and that way they can grow up together and be buddies. And I'm going to put these together again in a 4-inch pot. The roots look very nice, so that's good to see. This leaf was stuck in the caterpillar, so I'm trying to rescue it very carefully. Whoop! Okay, got it. I got the leaf out. All in one piece. Now these plants are crawlers, which means they crawl along the forest floor, and so I want them to be pointing in the same direction. And they're so small, I don't know what that direction is. This one has a tiny little root. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I can see it has tiny little roots growing, which is good to see. So I know it's going to be crawling in a particular direction. This one I don't see any roots on, so I'm gonna have to guess. Okay, there they are. I have a feeling these two are going to outgrow the pot pretty soon, but as for now, they look pretty happy as they are. The last plants I have are my Better Boy tomato plants, and I've never done tomatoes successfully before. I've kind of tried them and then lost interest halfway through the season, but this year we're gonna do it. We're gonna try. I'm gonna keep them watered and fertilized, and I'm gonna check on them daily, and I'm gonna do it for real. So, but I also have the knowledge that I got these plants for free, and if they don't make it, I'm not gonna be sad about it. So I have a large, like 1 gallon pot here, and I'm gonna pot them up together in here. I don't have like a vegetable plant soil, and I didn't want to buy a whole bag just for 3 little plants. So I'm going to use some peat moss, and I'm going to use some indoor garden soil that I have left over from like when I was doing African violets and things. So I'm going to do a mixture of those two. Might as well just add the leftover dirt from these plants. Don't fall over. They smell like tomato plants. They remind me of my childhood when my mom used to have a garden. I love that smell. That brings me back so far. Can you see the root system on there? That looks so good. We're off to a good start. Sorry, that wasn't a very good angle. Sorry, I didn't realize that wasn't a very good angle, but here they are, not nice and nicely potted up. I'm going to keep this on my front porch. I'm going to give it a water, and I'm not sure if that's going to be enough sun for them, but I'm going to do a little research, see if they need more sun than that. If they do, I might keep it on my back porch instead, but I like it. I like the idea of it being on my front porch, that way I can see it every day when I get home from work. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.